Whoops. Hold on. My bad there. I meant to hit the button for the theme song intro, and I hit the button for me instead. Let me adjust that so you guys can see my fabulous trophy and my robots here. Yeah, my brain's somewhere else in space right now, so I don't know. So, I had to open this. I don't know what my daughter's doing. She's up there going from door to door. So, hopefully she's not lurking while I'm trying to do this tasting. Anyway, I have. Welcome to another episode of the Uncanny Spirits Club. By the way, you'd think maybe I would, since I'm recording these, I would just edit all that other stuff out and have a nice clean recording, but life happens. I don't do over edited things. I don't mess with that. Things happen. I like it to be natural. I don't like it to look like I maybe took a second take and was like, I don't like how I tasted that the first time. Let's try it again. I don't do that. It's my first impressions generally, and that's how I like things. So I'm spontaneous, kind of, even though it's already been pre-recorded. I don't go back and I don't fix anything. I don't mess with anything. It's just how it is. You're welcome. Unless you would rather have everything all slickly produced, in which case it's not really going to happen. So what do I have for you tonight? I finally have gone back. I've done so many bourbons and ryes and things over the last however many episodes. I've done beers and whatnot, but most of the whiskeys that I've had a couple of Irish whiskeys here and there, but most of what I've had has been bourbons and ryes and various other American whiskeys. So this time I went back to something that I'm hoping, I'm certain actually, I'm not just hoping, I'm certain I will, that I will really enjoy, because this is really where my palate is at. And this is some Scotch. Ooh boy. This is Aberfeldy or Aberfeldy, or I don't have no idea. I'm going to call it all Aberfeldy. Aberfeldy Highland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, aged 12 years. And I'm looking forward to it. It's a limited bottling, it says, and this is number 2,905. I'd like to know what the limits are for it to be up into almost 3,000 bottles. But it is 80 proof. It's Highland Scotch. It says mellowed for 12 years in handmade oak casks. This smooth, sweet dram offers rich rewards for those who like to dig deeper. So I'm interested. I haven't done a good Scotch in a long time. Now this was $51.99 in my local grocery store, which is a weird price point. $52. I don't know. Odd price points they throw me off. I kind of wonder why they did that. Like, it's not like a clearance or anything. It's not being closed out. It's not disappearing from the shelves. It's been up there a while. So maybe it is going away, and that's what the price is now, and I just never noticed. But $51.99, $52. So it's outside of my normal price range that I've been doing a lot lately. It's usually been 40 and under. Generally 35 and under for a lot of my stuff. A lot of my stuff has been a bit more affordable than that. But $51.99. I like the top of the cork on here. It's a nice little like crest thing. Aberfeldy Distillery, Aberfeldy Distillery, Perthshire. It looks almost like a Masonic kind of like symbol, doesn't it? I like that. Just pop the cork on that. Ooh, squeaky. Smells good. Smells nice and fruity, like a Highland Scotch. Looks like an organic cork. There's the top more up close, in case you wanted to look at it. I like that. I like the symbolic stuff on there. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this into my glass. Generous amount there. Nice and bright. Nice and bright fruity smell. Like a pear apple kind of smell. Pretty typical of this kind of scotch. Very nice smelling. A nice light brown. On the camera, again, it looks darker than it looks in real life. Here is a nice golden brown color. Decent viscosity, not real thick, not real syrupy by the looks of it, a little thinner. This is in my pony's glass that my daughter got me for a birthday or something some years ago. Kind of like my Scotch glass, to be honest, because they also got me the Bua. I don't remember if that was Irish whiskey or if that was Scotch whiskey. Might have been Irish, I think, or might have been Scotch. I don't remember. Some things I remember, some things I don't. Comes with the drinking territory. No interventions, please. So anyway, we're gonna give this a try. It smells good. It smells like a solid Highland Scotch. It smells a lot like a Macallan or a Glenlivet. Almost a little bit like a Glenmorangie. Or a Glenfiddich. It smells a lot like a Glenfiddich. A lot like a Glenfiddich. So, let's see how that does to the taste buds. Very sweet. Very sweet starting out. A very milk chocolate. A very milk chocolate taste to that sensation rather than, and I said this in one of my other videos previously, probably the last one, but maybe the one before that, that when I say I had taste certain things, certain flavors, it's less that they taste like if I had them side by side and I was doing a taste test about how they compared, it's not exactly like, oh yeah, this tastes exactly like that. It's more the essence of the other thing I'm describing, the sensation. It's how it interacts with the taste buds. The taste buds interpret it a certain way from my brain. My cats are knocking over their scratch toys. And I taste a lot of milk chocolate in that, which is interesting because I don't eat milk chocolate generally anymore because I can't. I have to stick with dark chocolate and that kind of thing. Yeah, a lot of milk chocolate. I've also noticed that I definitely have started a receding hairline on my hair as it's growing back in. You have this little peak in front, like the widow's peak kind of thing, but definitely my hair is seeming to potentially recede. So I won't have to shave too much longer. I'll probably go naturally bald, which is okay because that's kind of what I like. I don't like hair. Tangent. I don't like upkeeping hair. I don't like messing around with it. I don't like having to buy fancy shampoos or conditioners or anything like that. That's why I keep it short. So all I have to do is rinse it out and it's fine. No big deal. So I'm sure you all asked for that information. Let's take another taste of this to make sure that my taste buds are accurate now that it's on the palate. very milk chocolate in a way that reminds me of those cheap Easter chocolates that you get. Not like the Cadbury things, although there is a little bit of creaminess, so you almost get a little bit of that. But like on here in the United States for the Easter holiday, they pump out, and probably for stuff like Valentine's Day too, Valentine's, whatever you want to say. Accents are sketchy, as usual. Um, the chocolates are relatively cheap. They're not the highest quality you're going to get. They're not like junk, like they're not going to make you sick or something usually. But they're obviously not made with the same amount of care as like a you know as like a Cadbury or something like that. Although even some of them are kind of not the best quality anymore. But the it reminds me of those cheap eggs and bunny small ones, not like the big bunnies, but the little that you unwrap from the foil, and they kind of taste a little bit like the foil because they've been in that foil for however long since they left the factory, waiting on the shelf for somebody to buy them. Um, kind of like that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a nostalgic way. Because while, this you don't really want your chocolate to taste like foil. It's a thing as a kid. You look forward to that taste and getting those and just stuffing your face full of them and being like, chocolates and things. And it became part of the flavor, the memory of the flavor as you had. And this gives me a lot of that. And I don't mean that as a bad thing towards Aberfeldy or towards their Scotch whiskey. I don't mean to say that, oh, your Scotch tastes like foily milk chocolate. I can taste the metal in it. It's a good nostalgia. It's a good nostalgic feeling from when I was a kid, kind of getting in that and reigniting that palate a little bit. And I like that. I like that. It's not my favorite Highland Scotch, but I like it. For $52, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit much, but for a good Scotch, and this is a good Scotch, you kind of have to pay a little bit. You don't necessarily have to pay $1,000 plus prices for Macallan, because some of those are pretty ridiculous. I wouldn't spend that kind of money on something that I'm going to just, as I've always said, I'm going to end up leaving in the toilet the next day, right? So, but $52, okay, it's a bit expensive for the taste profile, but I'll take it. I won't get it very often, I don't think, because the taste profile is not so good that it overcomes that price point. Because there are some things that are just so good that I'll spend the money on it anyway. Um, and some things I want to spend the money on and I can't because they're just so expensive, but they're so delicious. Angel's Envy finished rye. I am looking at you. Raised the price, and now I can't really afford it. But man, is it delicious! But that's not what this is about. This is the Scotch. $52. Um, a lot of the best scotches that I've had generally are within the $60 price point. It's just how it is. They're good scotches. That's the price for them. That's what you get. I mean, Scotch is all imported. You don't make Scotch here in the United States because it wouldn't be Scotch anymore. In order to be designated as Scotch, you have to make it in Scotland. You can make some things close. There's some American whiskeys that taste dang near close to a good Scotch, but you can't call it Scotch. And even the American whiskeys that are close here are kind of within that price point. They're within the $50 to $60 price point. So it's fair. Whatever the process involved to get those particular tastes and that particular feeling, it's $50 or $60 minimum, generally. You can get cheaper scotches, and I've had cheaper scotches that were pretty good, like the famous Grouse and a few of the other ones. They're still good. I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but for a good, solid, quality scotch, it's about $60. So anyway, that's the Let me erase that. It came in a tin from our grocery store, 12-year. And this is the bottle. Highland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, aged 12 years. 80 proof, $52 at my local grocery store. Tastes like Easter morning milk chocolate. That's what I think, anyway. Tell me what you think about it. Leave a comment on this video or send me an email at uncannyspiritsclub@gmail.com. And as always, like, share, subscribe, etc. Help the channel get monetized so that you can help me pay for these nice bottles without paying anything of yours out of pocket. If I get monetized, it costs you nothing. Absolutely nothing. If I get monetized, I get paid from ad revenue. You don't have to pay any subscription fees. You don't have to pay anything. So like, share, subscribe, and I can stop bugging you about it. And I can start getting ad revenue. And then I will start buying different things, maybe, depending on the price. There's a lot of motivation in there for you. Okay? So anyway, that's it for me, of course. And as always, until next time, cheers. That was really